Howdy peeps, welcome back, or welcome to. Um, yeah, happy Easter, I guess. Try and avoid what I normally say about these things. Um, yeah, don't eat the bunny eggs. They might look nice and chocolatey, but they're cecotropes. You don't want to be eating those. Yeah, so yes, welcome. If you're here, nobody's here yet, so it gives me an opportunity to straighten the camera up a little, doesn't it? Let's see. That way. That's a bit better. Ooh. There's Yellow. How you doing, Sammy? Searching for dog eggs right now. Yeah, you want to make sure you pick those up. Yeah, you're in Cali. So it's probably the same as over here. You get fined if you leave them behind or get caught leaving them. Not that it stops some people. Because apparently it's really hard to remember about taking poop bags with you. Don't care about this stuff. So you get all the white fossilized dog turds everywhere then. Nice. Yeah, we kind of had enough of stepping in those, so we sort of made it illegal. Put in dog waste bins and made it see, yeah, you had to pick up after your dog. And it doesn't matter where they go, you still got to pick it up. Yeah, nice. It's the same here. I swear there are some people who purposefully walk their dog either really late at night or really early in the morning, just so you know there's no one's going to see that they didn't do it. But the amount of ring doorbells that pick people up these days, more the public shame. Yeah, don't want people to know that you're the kind of person that leaves a dog log on the grass in the park or on somebody's front lawn. Happy Easter, Brian. Hope you're having a good one. Haven't eaten all the chocolate quite yet. Mary got me a rather lovely Lindor egg and a bar of Lindor Gold Bunny chocolate salted caramel version. So I'm going to try not to eat all at once. Don't think I'm going to succeed. I think it'll probably disappear very rapidly. Yeah. So, yeah. I've been doing a lot of edging this week. Phrases that can be taken the wrong way these days. I've finished doing the border edging in the garden, tidied up the pond a bit and edged around back. Planted a few more plants and bulbs. Other than that, it's been work as usual. Fairly heavyweight carnage at work, I have to say also. Lots and lots of customers. Because it's that historic or traditional time of year when people do the decorating and we sell paint, brushes, all that kind of decorating malarkey. And if they're not doing the decorating, they're sorting something out in the garden. And we sell a bunch of that stuff as well. So, yeah, been busy. At least it means that my shift goes by quickly, doesn't drag on because I'm bored. Sort of malarkey daily. Yes, exactly. Not filmed a video on that bit yet, Brian. This is the first two bits, but yeah, all the borders are done now, so I will get around to posting another video on gardening type stuff. Sorted out the pond netting and the edges, tidied it up. So yeah, that's that done. Next job is going to be putting the little island bed, and then that's all the sort of gardeny stuff done out the back, pretty much. After that, yeah, it'll be dig out the remainder of the brambles that are growing up in what was the lawn, and then get rid of the rest of the grass and wild strawberries. Yeah, they're not edible. And then, yeah, weed killing or weed suppressing membrane and bark chips. So lower maintenance. It's having to cut grass. I hate cutting grass. Yeah. Doing a job that you know you're just going to have to do again in a couple of weeks, and especially being a hay fever sufferer, cutting grass really isn't fun. Generally, I cut the grass and then spend the rest of the day wanting to claw my eyes out and with my nose running, and yeah, it's not good. So I'll try and avoid it. Though randomly in my front lawn, lawn is a loose term there because there's not a lot of grass. There's a lot of dandelions growing up, and also I've got some oilseed rape plants growing. And yes, Mr. Algorithm censorship person, you can say that word because I'm referring to the plant, not to the act. Yes, that's something that annoys me. You can't say that. Yes, I can. Because it's an actual word describing the name of a plant. One they grow flipping field upon field of around here. And somehow, I'm guessing birds have eaten some and pooped the seeds off my front garden. And I've got oilseed rape growing in my front lawn now, which is, not the best. That definitely triggers my hay fever, and it's in flower as well. So that's a job for this week, is to chop the front grass and pull out the rape. And that's probably a bad term to use. Pull out the rapeseed plants. Let's put it that way. Yeah, bit of a tidy up out the front, and then maybe do a bit out the back as well. See how I feel. See what the weather's like. Might piddle down the rain all week for all I know. And I don't want to be going out in the back garden because piddling down the rain means it will be an absolute mud bath out there. Doesn't mean I won't have to water anything though, which is always a bonus. And that is something I've started doing, is saving my empty cola bottles, and I'm putting the water change water out of the fish tanks into the cola bottles, well, some of it, and I'm going to use that to water the grass, or water the garden, not the grass. Last thing I want to do is water that, make that grow more. But yeah, and the flies are about as well, so that's always annoying. Yeah. So what was it I planted? There's a couple of salvias, a lavender, Fisher's something else I can't remember the name of. And so it was only about another 25 bulbs, so that didn't take too long to do. Other than that, I say water changes and work really. No real huge changes in the fish room. Took the yo-yo loach out of the tank with the super red bristle noses. He is in there now, so you might see him scootering about. And all of a sudden, literally take the yo-yo loach out, and all the trumpet snails come back out the substrate again. So yeah, at least the ram's horns are gone out of there. Trumpet snails I can deal with. They're a lot easier to get rid of. Well, not get rid of, but keep the numbers down. Because they tend to either be on the glass or on the substrate. So I can, because there's no shrimpies in that tank, I can just pop a saucer or something in there, stick some algae wafers on it, and let the snails just congregate, and then just lift that out with the snails on it. Or just stick my hand in and pull handfuls out. Took 100 odd out of the black water tank. The clown pleco tank now that Mr. Carrot is no more. So yeah, we've got to figure something out to go in there, but it's got to be something shrimp friendly, because there's bloody hundreds of them, despite the fact that they've had dwarf cichlids in there. There's hundreds of shrimp scootering about everywhere, pretty much all wild type or black, but we don't want them to turn into food if we can help it, do we? What else have I been up to this week? Watched some racing, so not much to talk about there. Work. Weather's been warm, so there's been plenty of slightly less dressed ladies about. So. Did have one very, very angry customer yesterday. Turns out it just couldn't read. Didn't understand the whole concept that bank holidays, some places aren't working, and Easter Sunday, most places are shut. And they couldn't read a website or a text. Tommy, I was thinking about you earlier, and not in that way, you dirty-minded individual. I randomly had a channel show up on my feed, Tea Story Time or something like that. It was going through. It's basically a channel that goes through folklore and hauntings in the US, and it was one on Texas, so I watched it. Can't remember most of it. Thing that sticks out though, apparently the black-eyed children thing started in Texas, and I thought it'd been around a lot longer than that. I think I would say something like the 80s or the 90s, but I'm pretty sure I've heard about it a lot longer than that, but might just. Yes, the black-eyed children, not the black-eyed peas, which are scary. The black-eyed children. Are you not familiar with the phenomenon? Yeah, you probably don't want to see it. It's one of those where it's probably just folklore and people making things up. But as I say, as it was native to Texas, I thought you might like to know about it. Might work for your, is it Growler channel? Yeah. Yeah. And there's also Goatman Bridge as well, which you're probably already completely familiar with. I think Ghost Adventures did a video there, did a show there. They should come up with a new name for that, because it's not Ghost Adventures, is it? It's Fake Scare Rumble. That's it. And the truth that it's probably a relatively simple explanation. There was probably just a man living in the woods who wore a goat skin, scared someone, and the story blew up out of that. That's probably my guess. And at the time it was a prison, all of it. Man was in the prison, like right outside of the walls. Yeah, definitely look up the Black-Eyed Children. I did. The other one I watched was Louisiana, so I've got to try not to get the two mixed up. Took care of the animals in the prison. When they died, we collect the pelts, don the pelts, and scare the people away that were walking by the trails. Yes, it was just. Yeah, he was just he was either having a laugh, or he was just sick of people just free people not incarcerated, just walking right by the prison, kind of taking the mickey. And once there was few enough people in the hiking area, he did a runner. Yeah. Makes sense. And then he died and he haunted the bridge and it got all satanic and scary. Yeah, Black-Eyed Children is one on. I'm not saying no and I'm not saying yes. I'm like, Bigfoot, I'll say yes. Because it makes sense that there could be a large hominid living in the boreal forests that we've not discovered by science yet. Because the boreal forests span the flipping expanse of the globe, basically, at that longitude, latitude, one or the other. Yeah, latitude. And yeah, and most of that area is wilderness. People generally don't live there. So, right now, witness an escape, scary run away. Makes sense. Scare people away so you can do a runner and not get caught straight away. Only a few miles from my house. Nice. Yeah, I mean, how do I put it? Is there a like cryptid type creatures, some of which are believable. Bigfoot, the big cats in England. No, they don't exist. Dude, we got video footage of them. People have found sheep carcasses up a tree. There's only one way that's going to happen. And it ain't the neighbourhood moggy doing it. I know the people that helped create the law. Yeah, exactly. I was like, it's probably just another one of those folk tales to try and keep people away from what is probably a very dangerous bridge. If I remember it from what I've seen, it's pretty rickety and not what you'd call a safe thing in the middle of the woods. So if you have an accident, no one's going to find you. So yeah, it works to keep people away from that area. This is where a lot of folklore comes from. Just try and keep people safe. The casino area is called Casino Beach, where you can lose all your money and then go drown yourself in the lake. Yeah. But yeah, so things like Bigfoot, the big cats, Yeti, or Abominable Snowman, or yeah, all of them were run by mobsters, weren't they? Let's be honest. It was all just a giant money laundering operation, allegedly. Then you get the folkloric tales of like the Loch Ness monster or the Jersey Devil or Mothman. Actually, Mothman, I'm not entirely sure either way. But no, Nessie, Jersey Devil, werewolves, vampires. I'm going, nah. Nope. Okay. Yeah. And then to me, that's one subject, and the paranormal or ghosts is a completely different subject. But people like to sort of smush them together because it's both unexplained stuff. And then there gets some weird crossover things happening where people claiming that Bigfoot can go into a portal and go into another dimension. And no, just hides. Cloverfield. Yeah. Yeah, the Cloverfield monster was real. Yeah. And John Goodman saw that. I believe John Goodman. We don't necessarily hear generally a huge amount of American sort of folklore and cryptids and ghosties. Let's be honest, we got enough of our own. We've got many more centuries of things happening in the UK or on this island. And that's the other one. We don't really have that many cryptids. There's the Duvarcool, but that's Ireland. And the rest of them are really more paranormally, folklory. Yeah, the Fae, Shelties, Black Dogs, Dragons, Owlman. It's just so, yeah. And there are still people who claim to see dragons. I'm pretty sure in a country the size of the UK, if there was dragons flying about, we would probably know them. We would, we would know about it if dragons were flying around. King Arthur, James Bond. I mean, historically speaking, King Arthur existed. Merlin probably existed as a wise man, not as a magician or a sorcerer or a wizard. And I think the Lady of the Lake story comes from somewhere else, even further back. T-Rex was a dragon. It was a terrible lizard. I mean, yeah, ostriches are scary ass things as well. A bird that can disembowel you by kicking you. No, thank you. Bad enough with geese and swans, let alone something that's bigger and heavier than I am. Yeah. Howdy, Jeff. Happy Bunny Day. Yeah, a mineral. Yeah, yeah. That's where where that comes from. It's smelting. Not smelting. What is it smelting? What is it? Tempering. That's it. Trying to remember my metallurgy tempering process using water, and then these days I think they use oil, don't they? Most of the time. Probably used engine oil when a carefully concocted mineral oil would probably do a better job. Yeah, it's not when people think there's just like steel. No, there are literally thousands of kinds of steel. No, not steel. Well, the two that you've heard of, steel and stainless steel, are two different things. They have different chemicals added to alter the composition and qualities. There's chromoly, which has got chrome and molybdenum in it, and all sorts of different stuff in between. Hello, Debs, darling. Huggle. Don't eat all the chocolate today. Save some for tomorrow. Yeah, there we go. The usual weird mix of subjects from cryptids and folklore to tempering steel. Yeah. Yeah, mineral oils are better. Mineral rich lake is a selling point. Super high TDS. Carbonized and mineralized. Yeah. And it was Cornwall. So there would have been tin in the water, most likely, which would probably soften it, if anything. But then if it's would have been tin and iron. I'm trying to think what base rocks are in the area. Granite, quartz. I had the chocolate yesterday. Yeah, it would have been a spring bubbling up naturally from somewhere into a hollow. And someone put their hot blade into it and went, hang on. Like they just forged a sword for someone or a knife and they needed it now. So, well, how am I going to cool this down? I can't give it to them. It's like 1,000 degrees. I'll dip it in the lake. There you go. Wow, that knife's super sharp. I swung it at someone and it cut through their sword. Huh? I'm going to keep doing that. And then eventually someone figured out why, and I was like the whole thing with back in the whenevers when we'd have cholera outbreaks and whatever in London, and people associated bad smells with disease. Now, okay, they were wrong, but they figured out if they got rid of the bad smells, i.e., got rid of the sewage, the diseases went away as well. Yeah, they just didn't know about microbes and bacteria. But they put two and two together, came up with five, and somehow it worked. There's a lot of human discoveries over the millennia. So I had to run and check on a strawberry rhubarb pie. Rhubarb and custard sweets I'll eat, if you've not tried them. They're not made with real custard, don't worry. It's hard-boiled sugar sweet. But if I'm going to pie, I like a nice savoury pie with meat and gravy in it. And I know how weird that sounds to Americans. Poor man's custard. Poor man's custard is better than rich man's custard because poor man's custard is birds straight out the packet. I'm going to have to do that again someday. I haven't done it for years. Buy a tin of bird's custard and just take the lid off the tin and sit there with a spoon, man. Oh, I'll probably be sick these days. Not to mention the effect of that much egg on my digestive system, given how bad my wind's been the last few days. And, making people's eyes water at work. They've been lingering well as well. When you fart one end of the warehouse, about half an hour later, someone walks down the other end of the warehouse and walks into a cloud of it. We know you like a good sweet pie there, Jeff. There are certain kinds of sweet pie even I will eat. Ain't nothing going to help my gut, Tommy boy. It's irritable bowel syndrome. It's just decided this time it's not going to show up in the you need to sit on the toilet for an hour. But this is the exact problem. If I eat the greens, if I eat healthy, I get ill. I know, typical me to get something that's completely back to front, which is why it took 3 specialists to figure it out, and several months of losing lots and lots of weight. Yeah, so I've had it 20 odd years. And I haven't got the sense of smell, so bad wind doesn't bother me. I just get the funny side. I get the amusement of watching other people's reactions. I know you only got my best intentions at heart, but believe me, I tried all those kind of good bacteria things when it started happening. And I've kind of got to a balance now. It sort of kicks off occasionally, but it'll be maybe a day. Doesn't leave me like housebound for 3 or 4 days at a trot, pardon the pun. Copyright. Your gut is your body's internal fish tank. Well, I mean, there are more bacteria cells in the human body than there are human cells, so there is that. Which is why all this antibacterial stuff that everyone keeps using, probably really bad idea long term. You use an antibacterial cleaner on every surface in your kitchen, and you prepare food and what have you. And there's going to be some of that antibacterial product gets inside you, small amounts, but it'll kill off some bacteria before it goes through. Selfish. I'll be gone before you are, Tommy. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'll be. I've been doing this since I was like 13, 14. So, you know, we're not making a pact, okay? I mean, it's either going to kill me or I'm preserving myself. It's one or the other. Speaking of which, I'm going to have a ciggy. Yeah, it's a weird one. I could probably do a paper on my body and how it works, but not the way it should work. So many random things that aren't right inside of it. Like my throat goes down, and then there should be like an S bend in it, like you get under a basin or a sink. I don't have that. It goes straight down, basically mouth straight down the stomach. So when I drink something, if my stomach's empty, you can actually hear it hit my stomach. Which is why I burp so quickly after drinking anything fizzy, because the gas just comes straight out and straight up. There's not a trap there holding it. The creepiest thing I've seen on is cult is like 30 minutes from me. Ooh. Who's that? Who's cult? Cult, 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 cult. We're not talking Koresh, are we? You're not near Waco. I had it wrong the whole time. Black-eyed children, church-going vampires. What am I doing in Texas? Yeah. Blazing hot. Desert. Yes, I know there's other things going on. Was another thing I was saying about was an area of sand dunes that the Comanches used to use. Did not show the Kenneth Copeland comment. No, it didn't. Which is weird because I've not got any sort of things set. So I'm drinking other people's blood. Well, yeah, blood of Christ, I suppose. In front of his church. Yeah. I mean, hopefully he's not related to Stuart Copeland, although Stuart Copeland's a bit mad. Drummer of the Police. Famously used to annoy Sting by playing whatever the hell he felt like, rather than the actual song. Yeah, there's far weirder things than drinking blood that happen in churches. Just ask the Catholic choir boys. Yeah, he was probably just a nutter. Or, as we'd call them in the UK, an eccentric. Oh, he's just a bit of an eccentric. Don't mind him. He's a character. Yeah, that's how we tend to approach people like that in the UK. I say it does ring a bell. He's not one of those mega church dudes, is he? The tax dodging millionaires. Like what was his name? Austin was that one of them? So the other one who looks like a little troll. That's the one I'm thinking of as Copeland, but it's probably not him. Yeah, his character method act exactly. Weirdness is very much a day-to-day thing in the UK. It just sort of goes over our heads. It's like, yeah, we hardly even notice it. There's a lot of lot of land, church on the land, airport on the land, church. Yeah, yeah. So basically, a compound. At least back in the 60s and 70s, they were hippie communes, and it was just free love and drugs. So a lot of those culty places are like that, though, aren't they? I mean, generally on a smaller scale, but he's basically setting up his own little country there, his own state. And because it's a church, he doesn't pay tax. Needs a temple of Satan to, or Church of Satan, or whichever they call it, buy some land next door and set up their own one. Yes. And he probably has his way with most of the lady folk. Yeah. Koresh 2.0. The Branch Davidians. I mean, Davidians is already quite an extreme branch of Christianity. If you got them branch from that as well. Yeah, I mean, if I could afford the land, I'd probably have a cult as well. Yeah, Texas, again, the one-star state. I would say come to the UK, but it's probably not much better. And the weather would probably kill you. um, yeah. I can sort of picture you in a log cabin in the woods somewhere like Oregon, Portland, that area. I enjoy being hidden in the countryside in the UK. Don't like long cold periods though. Yeah, we call that everything but summer. And to you, probably our summers would be quite chilly. I mean, generally from what, October through till March, it's usually in single digits, rainy, windy. Yeah, Tommy, you're too tall for most things. Don't buy a ye olde house in the UK because there are plenty of them I had to duck to go through the doorway. I lived in one. I swear that's where most of the hair went off the top. It got left on door frames. Uh, it's not. I'm literally just 6 foot, and I had to duck every time I went through the doors and up the stairs because the ceilings weren't very high, which meant as you go up the stairs, the second story, you got to remember to duck because otherwise you're going to crack your head on the floor of the second story. Not good. Although it did mean it was nice and easy to sort of sneak out of the bedroom window. Uh, it's kind of weird though because other old houses tend to have really high ceilings, sort of 8, 9 foot plus. And I guess it was a thing back in the day. Show how much money you've got by how high your ceilings are. How much of a pig it is to redecorate. Oh God! Speaking of that, had a customer this week who was after new hinges for the doors in the house because they were redecorating and they wanted to change from chrome to brass. And she was getting very irate that our brass hinges weren't the same colour of brass as the door handles she bought from somewhere different. And I'm stood there for like 20 minutes, and all I can think is, don't tell her you never looked at the hinges. Don't tell her nobody looks at the hinges or the handles. Because if the thing you're looking at in the room is the hinges or the door handles, then you're really bored. Maybe you should have something else in that room other that you can look at. Back in the day, we just used to paint the hinges the same colour as the door frame anyway. We didn't carefully paint around them. Actually, I was just looking at my door hinges on the kitchen door. You know they've been up there a while because they've still got slotted screws in them, flathead screws, rather than Posies or Phillips. Yeah, they've been there a while. But you know what? They don't need changing. They might need a little bit of oil now and then, but you know, the door opens and closes, therefore the hinges work. And that is literally the first time I have looked at the hinges on the doors in my house. And they're just bare steel. They aren't even zinc or chrome or anything. There's certainly not ball bearing hinges, which is apparently a thing now, because you need your door to be easier and smoother to open, so you have ball bearing hinges. What? Are you that feeble that you can't open the door? Maybe the door's a bit too heavy. Yeah. These are the kind of things we have to deal with working in a hardware store. Oh, oh, firing hole. Oh, oh, there. Oh, 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 a bit warm. Uh, yeah, the kind of thing I end up dealing with at work. Then I had another guy about hinges yesterday, but that was great. We had a in-depth exploration of hinges and the weights and limits and sizes, and we had a laugh and a joke about it, and it was all good. He went away happy. I had my break half an hour later than I was planning, which meant I had less time in the rest of the day. So yeah, it all worked well. Oh, I did miss serving a couple of pretty ladies while I was serving him. Yeah. A good laugh is a good laugh, and a happy customer is better than trying to not look at things you shouldn't be looking at. What else have I been watching? What else have I been up to and watching this week? Yeah, you can't get caught looking if you're not serving them. It's quite easy, really. Although some do make it very difficult not to look. They basically act like they want you to look. Like, no, I'm not falling for that one. I'm not getting myself in that trouble. That way lies danger. I may look dumb, but I ain't that dumb. Anything else? As the pond is now absolutely swarming with tadpoles, the common UK frog. Yes, UK might be European. Yeah, yeah. Best not go down that path. Just, thing is, these days, it's not like there's a shortage of ladies online who are willing to, you know, show plenty of flesh, shall we say. So there's no need to be getting yourself into trouble. I'll leave that to the younger, less experienced ones, shall we say. Could be funny tomorrow because, yeah, still a bank holiday, so we'll still get the DIY crowd come in, which will probably mean several younger ladies. We we have fish ladies on OnlyFins. Ooh. No, I'm not going to download OnlyFans just to lecture someone's fish tanks. Howdy, Rainer. Happy Bunny Egg Day to you too, or Day of the Jackalope, as I called this video. I think jackalope might be a Southern American thing as well. And that's one cryptid I do want to exist, the jackalope, because they're super cute. Basically a bunny with antlers. What's not to like? Oh yes, and Latte had a visit to the vets this week. Latte bunny. And all well. She was a very good girl. She didn't bite or scratch or claw or anything, or even pee in the vet surgery. Didn't react when she got her injections, although she was told she's apparently a little bit tubby, so she's been put on a little bit of a diet. But yeah, when the only bad thing is she's slightly overweight, and then when Mary left, the receptionist was, "Oh, can Latte have treats?" Yeah, it's a thing in UK vets where they'll give dogs and cats treats. Gave Mary for Latte a little packet of dried apple, which went down very well and very quickly, and was like got the grumpy look of "Where's more? I need more, human." Raina got new corals as an Easter gift from a customer. Ooh. We have very strict rules on accepting gifts from customers. I think it's something like, oh, Ryan heading to Mum's house for Easter. Happy Easter to Mama and the rest of the family, Tommy. Have a good one. Watch out for black-eyed children, goat men, jackalopes, all that kind of stuff. Texans. I'm not sure which is the scariest of the lot. Probably the Texans. And yeah, enjoy the hyperactive kids later when they're all full of chocolate. And then when they have the chocolate crash afterwards and they all get really upset and grumpy. You'd think I was a parent, wouldn't you? No, it's from seeing other people with their kids. Going, right, so you've filled them up with chocolate. Now you're complaining they're full of energy. And now that's burnt off. You're complaining they're grumpy and upset because they just crashed. Okay. Do you not see the problem here? Maybe don't give them all the chocolate at once. Yeah, I think it's anything under £50 we can accept. There's like 50 to a couple of hundred we had to check with the manager that it's okay. Then above that we had to check with the team, not fraud, conflict of interest and all that kind of stuff. Not that it's a problem. If customers are going to give us anything, it's usually chocolates or cakes or something to eat as a group rather than an individual thing. I have had the occasional tip from a customer, but Don't work in the fish shop anymore, but kept some maintenance customers so I can accept what I want. Yeah, it's just in our case, it's a big company. They're just covering their butts, and I don't blame them either. Because yeah, yeah, you got to be careful these days, especially over here. I mean, I think the biggest tip I had was a tenner, and that was from someone I sold a lottery scratch card to, and they won £1,000. And they gave me a tenner. I'm more than happy with. But again, also working in the shop, you don't want to be having cash in your pockets because that can easily be misconstrued as that came out of the till, especially if the tills don't balance at the end of the day. So I generally just leave my wallet at home. Can't blame them. Since the shop moved to a new location, it's too far to bike. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, if our branch in Attleborough closed down and it was like, well, you can move to the Wyndham branch, I'd be like, that's like half a mile or half an hour bike ride there and back every day in decent weather. I would have to think about it. And I'd probably make the move and start looking for a new job. Let's be honest, that's probably what I'd do. I don't particularly want to be getting the bus there and back every day. Because you can guarantee that would mean hanging around probably both ends of the shift waiting for a bus, or just missing it every day, or having to run. And to be honest, yeah, 4 hour drive, yeah, no, definitely not 4 hours. 4 miles, I would think twice about. Um, I never quite got that thing of working a long way from home. I'm like, okay, so you earn a bit more money, but your work day is considerably longer, and you've got the travel cost and the extra wear and tear or whatever. Actually, do if you do the maths at the end of the day, you're probably working out worse off than you would be just working nearer home. But yeah, as I say, it's one of those things where if it was Wyndham, and I had to get the bus or bike, it would probably depend on the weather, to be honest, because if I've got to wait around for more than 10 minutes for a bus at either end, it's going to be quicker for me to cycle. Because it takes, what, 20 minutes to get to Wyndham on the bus? Oh, pardon me. Um, takes me about half hour to cycle it. And if I was doing that 4 times a week, the time would come down, and I'd probably get a bike more suited to riding that kind of ride um, on a regular basis. Anyway, I mean, I'd keep my hybrid for my personal fun long bike rides, but I'd probably end up with a gravel or a road bike to go to work on, just to cut the time down. And then it'd probably end up being quicker to cycle than go on the bus. But then if you're cycling there and it's hot, you're going to get to work all hot and sweaty. And if it's windy or raining or freezing cold, really not going to be a pleasant experience. So I'll stick to working where I am, thank you very much. And if for some reason I end up leaving where I am now and having to find another job, I'll look at Attleborough. I'm not going to be looking miles and miles afield. Exactly. You keep a few customers, the old boss, he can have new customers. Everyone's happy. You make a bit, he makes a bit. Yeah, it all works out. This is the kind of thing that some people miss out on. It might not be the best for everyone concerned. It might not be the best for you or the best for him. But it's a good compromise. Nobody suffers because of it. Which is something that people do miss as a concept these days. But it's not, I could do better. Yeah, you could, but yeah. Chill, relax. Yeah, if you need fish, you get them from him. So he makes money off of you. So basically, the money you make from maintaining the people's tanks that he would have made, minus your wages, probably works out that he's better off because of it. Because if he's paying you, let's say, 2 hours wages to go and maintain someone's tank, he's got to charge for the wages, the products. He's probably not making a lot of money off of that. And all that. So and now you're just paying your own wages, as it were. So it's all gravy. I mean, it's one of those. What is bike shops do a similar thing, where they'll have a bike fitter. I use that term in inverted commas because there are proper accredited qualified bike fitters who know what they're doing, know what they're talking about, understand it. But the job of the bike fitter in a shop is not to make sure that someone has the exact perfect fitting bike. It's to sell them something that's in stock. Because if you go in and you get your bike fit and you're of a size of nothing that shop stocks, they're not going to make a sale. And quite why. I mean, I get. So again, it's one of those things I don't get, or I do get. Kind of both. I get why a professional or someone that's spending hours and hours regularly training to race and all that kind of stuff would get a bike fit to make sure everything's exactly right. However, for 99.9% of people, as long as you get a frame size that's about right, you can adjust the rest yourself. Like, yeah, seat's a bit high. I'll lower the seat down, or maybe I can put the seat up a bit, or move the handlebars up or back or forwards, or Make an adjustment yourself. Because I mean, a proper bike fit costs quite a bit of money, and there's no guarantee that it's going to work. I don't quite know how they would do it with me because I don't ride drop bar bikes, and I don't use clipless or clip-in pedals. I wear normal shoes on normal flat pedals, so all this careful checking of stance width and cleat positions and angles and stacks and arch support, and no, I'm just going to wear the trainers, mate. Admittedly, I do have trainers that I do wear to cycle. I wouldn't, or trainers that I wear to walk around in that I wouldn't cycle in, because the soles are very soft and you can feel the pedals digging into your feet, and that's not particularly comfortable. Got bike fitted with the machine and Mongoose bike upgraded. Yeah, it's but were there any massively huge things that needed changing? Probably not. And could you have figured out most of them yourself? Probably. And it seems the main issue most people just have is they've got their saddle too high or too low. Generally, if they're on a drop bar bike, they have the saddle too low or the saddle too high because aero position. And if they're on a poodle about sit up and beg like a hybrid like mine, most people will have their saddle too low, which is most people, because there's still this kind of belief that goes around that when you stop you should be able to put both feet down. And anyone who rides a bike more than once or twice or a couple of miles will know that if you can put both your feet down, that seat is way too low, because you don't want your knees bending to 90 degrees every time you turn the pedals. A friend of mine works in a bike shop. The fitting was free. He's paid for the parts. Yeah. So if you had to pay for the fitting as well, that would have been an expensive trip. And given what my bike cost, yeah, the fitting would probably cost more than the bike. But a lot of the problems, other than seat height, saddle height, or the bike just being too long for people, and it's space the pedals out further, increase the stance. That was the thing I was about to get to, because bikes have got narrower. Again, for that 0.1% of people who feel the need to pedal around tight corners. And also the thing of more gears on the back, less on the front. So if you've got a 3x, so 3 gears on the front, that spaces your pedals further apart, because you've got to have room for all 3. Whereas if you've got 2 or 1, the pedals get closer together. So what they're doing these days is they're selling people a bike where the feet are too close together and the seat is too wide. So no, the seat needs to be narrower and the pedals need to be further apart. But yeah, again, that's the upside of flat pedals. It doesn't matter because your feet just go where they're comfortable. And my feet aren't straight. So my left foot is straight and my right foot is, that's an over exaggeration, but bent in because of my ankle. My foot just naturally bends in now because I mangled my ankle, and when they repaired it, that's the way the bones went. So although people would probably look at me weird if I was riding around on a gravel bike or a road bike and using normal flat pedals. Yeah, bike has to adapt to the rider, not the rider to the bike. Exactly. Professional athletes, they can take it. They're paid to take discomfort and pain. If every time, Jimmy, Cade Media is one of the bike channels I do follow. Because most of them, they just, ugh. Oh, you need this more expensive thing because it's better. How much better? 0.1%? No, thank you. But yeah, the best bike is the bike you want to ride. It's that simple. If every time you get off of your bike you're in pain, you're not going to want to ride it. Like if you buy a pair of shoes and every time you wear them you get blisters, you're not going to wear them. Unless they're the ones that you bought just for job interviews and weddings and things like that. And then you're going to wear them once every few years. I can put up with it once every few years. Yeah. Because, I mean, even if we were the same height and roughly the same build, my bike would be massively uncomfortable for you and yours would be for me. Because we're different. But the bike industry, for some reason, doesn't cater for short people. Literally none of the road bike brands will cater to anyone less than about 5'4", whatever that is in centimeters. It's got nice Mavic carbon wheels, yeah. Yeah. But they also seem to think that everyone who's going to ride a bike is going to be 20 years old, super flexible, and like a pipe cleaner. Oh no, you need to be in this position. If I get in that position, every time I raise my legs up to pedal, I'm smashing myself in the stomach. My gut is not flat. It's aerodynamic, it's rounded. I'm more comfortable sitting like that than I am like that. That's simple. And also, since when did handlebar grips all start getting solid? Right? This is a bit of a rant. I remember when I was younger, handlebar grips used to be soft, like mushroom grips and things like that, and they like absorbed the vibrations, and they're actually like comfortable to hold. And now they're all basically just solid, ergonomically shaped. Yeah, we'll put some bloody padding on it as well, will you? Yeah, soft grips. And why not? Why not do the same for road bikes as well? Forget the bar tape. Basically, tape with a little bit of really, really firm padding in it, cork or something like that. Why not? I don't know. Let's see. You know the pipe lagging you use to insulate pipes so they don't freeze? maybe put some of that over, and then wrap that so you've got nice fat chunky bars to hold on to. They've got squish. They're going to absorb the vibrations. They're going to be warmer because you're not basically holding on to the, in most cases, steel or aluminium. It's wrapped in a bit of tape. Yeah, but you can't do that. It's heavier. Yeah. If you're comfortable, you will go longer and faster than if you're uncomfortable. Yeah, and your bars probably cost more than my bike did, so there is that. The idea of carbon is like, oh, super light and nice, but I'd just be constantly worried about cracking it or damaging it. Or at least alloy or steel, and I ain't so worried. It can take a bit more abuse. Hell, steel, you just weld it back together again if it breaks. And I've seen that more than once. And you see it on Reddit where someone has had the bike welded back together and people, oh, you can't ride that, it's dangerous. No, it's not. It's welded, it's probably stronger than it was before. It's going to break somewhere else. Yeah, it is. That's because if you crash it, even relatively lightly, you could trash it. And yes, you can repair carbon, but it's bloody expensive. I mean, yeah, I'd rather not crash, but if I'm going to crash, I'd rather crash on a bike that's, I'm not worried more about the bike being destroyed than me. You know, it's like, check I'm okay, and then give the bike a once over, go, yeah, that looks rideable. Not be having to look at it real super close to check for cracks. And every time it makes a weird noise, yeah, one big pothole and you've got to replace the wheel. Yeah, exactly. I do try and avoid potholes, but I've got suspension forks and a suspension stem, so there's a bit of give there, and alloy wheels, so there's also a bit of give in those. But yeah, we do get plenty of potholes around here, but if you look where you're going, they're fairly easy to avoid. Also, another good thing with sitting upright, you can see better. If you're down like that and you've got to see where you're going, and you're pedaling along looking, you don't see very well. You certainly don't see very far ahead. And the whole point of being in that position is to go faster, so you need to see further ahead. I mean, it works if you're in a peloton and all you're looking at is the back wheel of the person in front of you. Oh dear. No. I'll stick to my sit up and beg metal bike that can take a bit of abuse. I mean, I've done a few things to make it a bit lighter. Tyres and inner tubes, and that made a big difference. And then I fitted a suspension stem and a rack and mud guards and whatever, and made it all heavier again. It's got to go have a quick whittle. Back in a minute. Oh, ow. Oh, back again. Oh. I've got 6 bikes, 2 street bikes, MTBs. No, yeah, I literally just got the one bike, but then I've not really got room to store multiples. Even with that in my shed, I can't get past it to get through from the front to the back. So if I've got a second bike, yeah, I would probably have to clear a bunch of stuff out of the shed just to be able to fit it in there. But then a road bike wouldn't be that much narrower actually, because I've gone the opposite way to mountain bikes. So I've gone narrower on the bars. I think bars are at the moment, what have I got now? 580 mil, something like that, which is narrow for flat bars, but works for me. Whereas if I went for a, got them hanging from the ceiling. My shed's not that big. It's basically the side passageway from the front to the back of my house has got a roof on it and a couple of doors. That's pretty much it. Well, one door. The back one fell off years ago. Basically just a small lean-to at this point. Yeah, so a road bike, I'd probably go relatively small on it because it's a lot easier to make a bike bigger than it is to make it smaller. So probably 42 or 44 wide, 420 or 440 mil. So it'd take a bit less space up, so I could possibly get 2 in there. But then it's a case of having to buy all the stuff again, because I'm not going to be changing over saddlebags, changing over bottle cages and blah, 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 and light mounts and GoPro mounts and God knows what. It's the addiction, yeah. Yeah, thankfully I've not fallen into multiple bike syndrome. It's just multiple tank syndrome for me at the moment. And I don't want any more of those either. because when I'm like of late, I've been working Mondays and Tuesdays, and my water change day is Monday usually. So I've been able to spread it out over Monday and Tuesday, and kind of just do quick, sort of quick, just change the water and clean the filters and job done thing, rather than trim the plants, get the mulm out, blah blah blah, look into things deep. Which is why there's so much mulm in some of these, and so many snails. But I'm not working next Monday, so I shall do all the water changes on the Monday and be a bit more in depth. So I'll demulm and de-snail and sort things out. Yeah, so I've got 57 litre flex here just sitting empty, turned off. You know, I've unplugged everything. It's a case of figuring out what I'm going to do with it, really. And do I put another pair of bristle noses in it and then some shrimp and plant it? Or do I go for something different? Who knows? And oh yeah, that's a point. 'Tis my birthday in a couple of weeks. Well, a few weeks ish. I haven't got any ideas what to ask Mary for my birthday. If anyone's got any ideas, I'd be most welcomed. Sensible price, obviously not a new bike. Because like, there's nothing I need. There's not really anything like, oh, I want that. I don't even need a new pair of slippers yet, so that can wait till Christmas. I'm good on boxers and socks. Had more algae wafers turn up this week, so I don't need any more of them. Are we there yet? Plants for the garden? Yeah, I could go with that. But again, I want. And yeah, I don't want to say I want this exact plant, and then turns out it's only available from one place, and the shipping is ridiculous. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll go with something like a bird table or something like that. I saw some more of the chiclets, so I got space for the Xenotoka iceni. Ooh. I could do with selling a bunch of bristle noses, maybe some limia, plenty of snails, possibly some shrimp. I'm working next Saturday, so that's probably not going to be a good idea. Be the weekend after. Damn. Yeah, there's something with the garden, something decorative. Hell, maybe just some decorative rocks I can stick around the pond. It saved me riding about on my bike trying to find rocks at the side of the road or wherever, just to stack around the edge of the pond. I mean, she's normally quite good at figuring out something that I want, but I don't know I want. Solar lights, there is that. I mean, I've had those before, but maybe a solar fountain for the pond, that might work. A little floating one so it doesn't suck up all the muck off the bottom, and like the fountain pump thing that's in there at the moment, if I turn it on, I have to clean out the filter every 2 days. It's actually a pain in the hole. Nicer filter. No. No. That does remind me. I've got another one of the air pumps that's currently running those 6 tanks sitting upstairs. So I'll swap that over with the 6-year-old Eheim that's in there, which is starting to get rather noisy again. And then I'll have more air in there, and I'll have enough spare to go into the bottom tank there as well. So yeah, maybe another box filter, just to have another filter to clean every week. Joy. Yeah, so I did have one of the little solar fountains, but again, it was one of the ones that went in the bottom of the pond and stuck up. And yeah, it's a natural pond. It's got mulm and muck in the bottom and bugs and stuff. Yeah, I don't do filters for ponds. Ponds don't need filters. They filter themselves. Howdy, Jeffro. Don't really hear the pump, just the bubbles. Cool. Yeah, it's just, I notice it when I'm going to sleep. It's just, or if I'm trying to have a nap downstairs or something, it's just that slightly wrong frequency that you can hear it. I'll say it's a 6-year-old Eheim, so probably just needs a clean, but I've got another one of the Zacro ones, which are silent. No, it's their what's the name? Basically, there's a name brand one that's the same, just has a name brand on it. This one doesn't have. It's same air pump, same factory, same everything, just about a quarter of the price. Yeah, blower. It's just standard air pump. It was like, I think full price they're about £25, and I got this one. Got the second one because it was on sale and there was a voucher, so it was like £16 or something like that. And it's like a normal air pump, but it's got a second box, so the pump itself is inside another box and suspended and vibration damped, so it is literally silent. And you put your ear right on it, you can hear a slight humming noise, but more than about, well, I mean, I'm currently sitting about 5 feet away from it, and can't hear it. Above ground, keep my bulbs in over the summer. Yeah, it's. I'll get around. I've been saying I'll get around to doing a video on it since I got the first one. I don't know whether it'll show up on Amazon anywhere else. I'll stick the name of it in the chat. But yeah, that's the name of the brand. I forget which name brand it is. But yeah, it's identical. I mean, you just had to look at aquarium air pumps on, say, Amazon, and you'll see all sorts which look identical to name branded ones. It's because they are identical. They come out of the same factory in China. It's just some of them get put in a posher box with posher labels and a posher name on it, and the rest go into a fairly plain box with just a basic label on, and yeah, they're the same thing. Exactly the same inside. It's a Shago German manufacturer. Yeah, I've seen those. But so I've run Eheims. That is the second Eheim I had. The first one is up there somewhere, just as a spare. The problem I have is I do this. I smoke. So all those lovely little felt pads in the air filters, which also help keep the noise down, because they're filters, like in air, little felt filtery pads in the air pumps. You know the ones. Well, after a while they get full of tar and stop working, so you get reduced airflow. And also you then take that out because you can't be bothered to hunt for a replacement part. So you pull them out and I replace it with a bit of floss or something, but then, and even before then, the tar gets through, sticks to the little tiny rubber flapper valves, they get stiff and it stops. Either stops working or just gradually slows down. Then you have to pull it apart, clean the valves off, put it back together again, and you're back to where you were. Not difficult to do. Yeah, fish just get a second-hand smoke. Yeah, pretty much. Oh well. See if they all get gill cancer. Or if I go on holiday for a week, whether they start jonesing for nicotine. But again, that'll, not that I've noticed, but then that's why they're always hungry. And they're always hungry because they're fish. I mean, I guarantee if I were to chuck some food in there, the limia would go absolutely nuts. Should phone fish line being forced. I don't even know whether nicotine would affect fish. because any tar that does get through the air pump will just get blown straight out the top of the tank by the air bubbles. Probably the same with nicotine as well. Maybe that's what the surface film is I get on my tanks. It's not a protein film, it's cigarette smoke. Maybe that's what I should do. Now you see those aquascape tanks where they've got the mist coming off of them. Film a short with the lid off the tank and just blow a load of smoke over the top of it. Google says nicotine is toxic to fish. They do have nicotine receptors. Yeah, well, fair enough. So this time of year, then they'll start jonesing for it because I've got the door and usually a window open as well to get the fresh air in. So it tends to blow through. It's just more in winter when I've got things closed up, just to stop it being freezing cold. But it's not like I notice my fish have shorter lifespans or they're doing weird things. I mean, yeah, some fish die, sure, but that happens to all of us. It's just the way of things. So the cichlids are getting angry when it's spring. Well, is that Bert or Ernie? That's Ernie. You're not angry, are you, Ernie? No. Don't think you can manage to do angry. I'm there, you know, there's a big scary cichlid sat there, surrounded by a whole bunch of live bearer fry. They don't come up for the food, it's for a fact. Maybe I should just dip my pipe in and see what happens. That would be an awesome short, wouldn't it? Dip the back end of your... It'd probably work in a pond if you got koi or carp that you regularly feed. You stuck the end of your pipe in. Don't light it. I'm not suggesting it be a light. I'm not that nasty or daft. But a carp would come up and sit there going on the end of the pipe. That would be a funny video or a funny short. You get all sorts of people complaining about it being, oh my God, what are you doing out of the poor fish? It's not lit. I cleaned it. And then I cleaned it afterwards before I put it in my mouth. Shame I've only got comments, and I say not a shame because the pond's not big enough for koi. Definitely big enough for comets because they're doing breedies in there. We've got baby comet goldfish swimming around. But again, there's only 4 adult comets in there. Any extras is purely down to them, not me. Not my fault. Yeah. Then again on the nicotine, I know someone did an experiment on spiders with various stimulants, shall we say. Loads of frog spawn in my pond. I've got a little bit of frog spawn because they started spawning a second time. But I've got thousands of tadpoles swimming around in there. Literally thousands of them. So I think it was up to 20 frogs in there. And I had, what was it? I think I had 9 or 10 batches of spawn. And now I've had another couple. So, yeah, going to be lots of froglets hopping about in the garden in a few months. At least I won't have a lawn to mow, so I ain't going to have to worry about mowing frogs. $15 white clouds and 6 long-fin rosy bulbs in 2,000 litre. What's mine? 150 gallon. What's that? 600 litre. With 4 sort of 6-inch long comets. 6-inch and chunky. They're fat and happy. And a few babies. God knows how many snails. Freshwater shrimp. Bloodworms. Dragonfly larva. There's all sorts in there. But it's all natural. I don't, it's not filtered. I don't feed it. I don't add anything. Really, I don't even do top-ups or water changes. Water changes are when it really rains hard and the pond overflows. Because I can't be bothered to hook the hose pipe up to the water butt and then run it to the pond, and it would just be gravity fed, so it probably wouldn't work anyway, because I did try it before. And things I'm not sucking on is the end of a hose pipe that's been living in that shed for God knows how many years, and the water that comes out of that water butt, because, well, it's heavily tannined, shall we just say that? There's actually stuff living in the water butt. But again, that's been there 20, 30 years maybe, so yeah, that's built up a good layer of sludge in the bottom of it as well. When leaves fall in and animals fall in and die. You know, so that's yeah, there's life in the water butt as well. As far as I'm aware, at least, all the wildlife is happy. So I'm not going to grumble or complain or change anything that's working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Because normally you just make things worse. But anywho, I need something to eat and something to drink. So I think I'll call it just a few minutes short today. We're nearly done at 2 hours. It's flown by. Thank you very much for everyone for being here. Been lovely as always to have you. Have a wondrous Easter. Don't eat all the chocolate. Don't eat the bunny eggs. Have a good one. Stay safe. Peace out. Rock on. Bye-bye. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Mondays suck do 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 do. Mondays suck do 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 do. Mondays suck do 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 do. Boo.